as well as junior high and high school. That was one of the great advantages I had in growing up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. These Dutchmen in Michigan made sure that we had good public schools.
Yeah, I graduated from a public school, and I had great grades, and I went on to the Naval Academy. I've had a great career. Public schools are the bedrock of education in this country, and that's where we need to make sure that we continue to make our investments. We don't need bad legislation like No Child Left Behind. That was such a bad piece of legislation. It basically said, we're going to go out and test the teachers, or we're going to measure performance of the teachers and measure performance of the students without giving the tools to help improve any performance that needed to be improved. I think what we should be doing is measuring the performance of the bill. And if we really did that, I think everybody would agree that the bill is a failure. It's not the teachers, not the students that's a failure. It's the bill that's a failure. We need to either identify the things that are wrong in that bill and fix them, or just scrap the bill altogether and replace it with something that's much better.
We need a fresh start.
We need a fresh start. I would agree with that.
See, I mean, that's one of the things. I was one of the founders of the McMinnville's Public School Education Foundation, because public schools were so crucial for me growing up in the Depression with a mother who ran a rooming house to support the two of us. You know, we were dirt poor, but I had good public schools, grade school, high school. It was in grade school where I developed my reading capacity, where I first read Greek and Roman mythology, you know.
I remember reading that when I was a kid too.
Is that right?
Yeah, I read all the Greek myths and Roman myths when I was...
And then went on to philosophy, you see. And along with that, on to debating. And I was a state champion debater in the state of Michigan. Here I am bragging. But what
That's something to brag about. It's very important.
Well, it was very important in terms of the training of the mind and training the capacity for leadership in the society, to be able to speak and think and put the two together.
That's true. I agree completely. And I would just agree with that.
What are some other ideas? I know we only have a few more minutes, but what are some more ideas that you want to bring to the table when you're elected to Congress?
Well, one of the things that I think is really important for this district is that we have leadership who not only comes back and listens to them and is engaged with the constituents in the district, with all of the Oregonians here, but responsive to their concerns.
Yes.
And so Oregonians know where their representative stands on issues. What does their congressman believe? And they should be able to say, I know what my congressman believes. It may or may not be exactly what I believe, but I know what he believes, and I know where he's going to be leading with that. And I know he's going to come back and listen to me, and if I've got some good ideas, he's going to take them forward. And he's respected enough and responsive enough that our concerns are going to be addressed on the national level. And I think that's just key.
You know, along with that, to understand what our congresspeople believe, our congressman believes, we also have to know what the people believe, and not only what they believe, but what are they doing?
Right.
See, it's action. Action speaks louder than words. So what are some actions now that you suggest that we get moving on here for the economy in the state of Oregon?
Here in the state of Oregon, I think we should start off with an engagement of our Pacific Rim partners to find a way to bring those manufacturing opportunities here to Oregon. I think that we need to make the investments in our rail transportation here inside the state and out of state so we can move Oregon goods to other states, so we don't have to move our goods by truck and on road, which if you look at it from an environmental perspective, railroads are about the best way, the most effective way to move goods from one place to another. Smallest number of greenhouse gases per mile, per pound of goods shipped, greatest fuel efficiency. These are things that we should be investing in, because the economy is definitely tied to the environment. So we need to make sure that we're making the proper economic investments that are tied to the environment that we want to have. We should not be making bad economic investments and decisions to have a bad environmental outcome.
Yeah, those two go together, don't they?
Oh, they very much go
The
hand in
economy
hand.
and the environment. And one of the great things about living here in Oregon is the beauty of the place where we live. Now, we need to increase the employability and the employment of the people who live here. So we have just a couple minutes. What are the last couple of things that you would call to our attention?
So I think one of the important things to think of is the healthcare debate that's going on right now in Congress and in the Senate. If we have a bill, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a healthcare bill that comes out of the House and the Senate, is signed by the President here before the end of the year. Everybody's pretty confident of that. What's important to know is that bill's not going to be perfect. It's going to be changed, it's going to be adjusted in the years to come. And I think it's important for Oregonians to know what their elected representatives believe when they're going into those rooms to discuss what changes need to be made to the health care bill. Because the debate on health care is going to be a lot different in March and May and November of next year than it is today. Today we're still arguing, or they're still arguing in Congress, whether or not we have a robust public option or we don't have a public option, or if you can opt out of it, or should we have a single payer, or the obstructionists that don't want to have any change whatsoever. This is important for all Americans, all Oregonians, that we have a very robust public option in there. It's good for the people, and actually it's good for businesses, and it's good for jobs.
Well, that's the thing that I love about living here in McMinnville. After I had this heart attack, you see, and had a quadruple bypass, and had very good surgery, and I got moving again. But I live in McMinnville, where I can go to the local hospital and work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with 2 nurses and doctors very handy, etc., being there, and other physical therapists right here to keep working on your health so that you can be involved in your community.
So I think everybody agrees and understands, and I fully support that preventative health care, palliative health care, recuperative health care should be in the comprehensive health care bill. We should also include long-term care in there for those people who need long-term care. These are things that we should include. Nobody should be going bankrupt because of medical bills. Nobody should not get a job that they're applying for because they have unpaid medical bills on their credit report. Those things should be removed from people's credit reports. Medical bills are something that it's very difficult to control, and it may not be you, it may be your children that you're covering. Why should somebody lose their job because their child got sick? That is just completely wrong, and I think it's counter to the American spirit.
Well, that's it. We want a healthy society, and that requires a healthy economy, and it requires healthy people.
Exactly.
Thanks for running for Congress.
Thank you, Frank.
Appreciate it very much.
All right.
We'll see you again.
Have me back. I'll be back.
Thank you.